It's your girl Chastity J, and I'm back with a quick message from God. All right, y'all. So earlier I was reading my Bible, spending some time with God, and I was in the book of Luke. Specifically, I'm going to touch on Luke chapter 19 and talk about the parable of the tax collector. So, for those that know, just a quick overview of that story, it's when the tax collector gives his money to a couple of his servants. The first servant doubles the money that he gave him, so made that profit. The second servant made 50% of the profit that the tax collector gave him. And then that third servant was like, he didn't do nothing. He was like, I hid it because I was afraid. I didn't want to lose your money. So he thought that he was helping the tax collector out. He was like, yo, I just kept your money safe so you got the same thing. But he wasn't being obedient to the directions that was given to him. So God was kind of just speaking to me, and he was like, look, that story ultimately means, I think I was in chapter 19, verse 26. And it says, he replied, I tell you that to everyone who has, more will be given. But as for the one who has nothing, even what they have will be taken away. And so God was just kind of relating that to like spiritual gifts and walking in your purpose, that you have to be obedient. Like, it is a gift to still be here and be on this earth, living, breathing, walking, talking, and having your abilities and, having all of your limbs and stuff. And even for those that do not, but the fact that you still have your life, that is a blessing. So everyone has a spiritual gift, and that's why I talk so much about finding your purpose and what God has you here for. Because he has you here for a purpose. Like, you're not just here being dead weight. Like, you are not. He has you here for a purpose, and it is your job to sit with him and figure out, what is my purpose? Like, God, what is my purpose? What should I be doing here so that I can fulfill your glory, so that I can be obedient to your calling on my life? And God just simply was like telling me personally, like, y'all, he was getting me together this morning. He's like, I need you to put more emphasis and more intentional time in one, spending time with me, but also in your purpose, in your ministry. I need you to be obedient. I need you to focus on doing the things that I told you to do, to be that that vessel to my children. I need you to fully, intentionally, be very intentional in this season and moving forward, and not only just your relationship with me, but in your purpose. So whatever that may be. And I just want to share some encouragement to y'all and with others that's under the sound of my voice, y'all. Be intentional with your purpose from God. Also, be obedient. You and I know when God is trying to tell you to do something. And if you are confused and don't know if that's God's voice or the enemy or your own, there's one thing you need to pray about is discernment. God, please help me discern between your voice, my voice, and the enemy. Strengthen my discernment. That's one thing. 2, start spending more time in your Bible, in your word, because I say this all the time. You cannot hear from a voice you've never heard before. You cannot hear from God and know that that is God if you've never heard from him before. And it's okay, because we all on this journey together. We're learning, growing, walking, and just elevating and maturing and everything together. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm sitting here telling y'all how God got me together real quick this morning and was like, yeah, you acting like that third servant because you're not doing anything. You're content right now. And I need you to get uncomfortable. I need you to stop making excuses as to why you don't have time for your ministry, or why you don't have time to do, other things that I have been telling you to do. Y'all, God got me together. He was like, you have time, and we always make time for everything else. We make time for the things that we want to do. So when people say they ain't got time, they're lying. Cut some things out, shake some things up, like switch their schedule up. You have time. So God, he was like, you have time, sweetheart. You have time. You have time. Because right now you're acting like that third servant. Things, the tools and the instructions that I gave you and I told you to go do, you didn't do anything because either you were afraid, you were fearful, you thought you were going to be judged, or you thought, or you simply said you don't have time and you've been pushing it off, pushing it off. But I have not been pushing off them lessons that I've been handing you and giving you. So just like you are expectant of things that you are praying and asking me for, I need you to go ahead and do what I told you to do because I am using you. It's not about you anymore, sweetheart. And this is God to me, y'all. But if it pulls on your heartstring and you resonate, it may be God to you as well. But God was like, this ain't about you no more, sweetheart. There is messages and things that I need you to release that somebody is waiting to hear from. Somebody needs a burst of encouragement. Somebody needs, it's something you may say that they are waiting and they've been praying for a sign. And I was using you or planning to use you to answer that prayer or give them that sign that they're waiting on to know that I am still listening to them. So I need you to get it together. And I was like, yes, sir. Okay. Because this is not about my life. I mean, this is not about me anymore. And I know that when I accepted the call and I accepted that this was my purpose and accepted the challenge, I don't really have time to be lazy. And I have to constantly humble myself and remind myself that it's not about you. Even when you're exhausted and you don't want to do something, of course, God gives me grace and he tells me rest when you need to rest. But don't make up excuses just because you don't feel like it. There's somebody that may be in a process of committing suicide, God forbid, but something that you release and that you say and you pouring into them is going to save their life ultimately. So, yeah, y'all. God used that whole story about the tax collector and go read it if you haven't read it yet. There's read the whole chapter, the whole book of Luke, but specifically Luke chapter 19 is what I was reading and this message is relating to. But don't waste time, y'all, because God gives us all spiritual gifts. He gives us all special and unique capabilities. And if you do not use it, he will just snatch it all away. He's not going to give you more responsibility if he cannot trust you with the little bit that he gave you. And that's with anything. Apply to whatever it needs to be applied to. I'm going to say it again. God will not give you more if you are not stewarding. I didn't even say this the first time, but God will not give you more if you are not stewarding the blessings that he already gave you. He ain't going to give you more responsibilities if you cutting up and you not handling what he gave you already appropriately and doing something with it. He ain't going to give you more. He not. So you have to steward the gifts, the blessings, the everything. The man, you talking about you want kids, but how are you stewarding the blessings that he already gave you? How are you treating your husband or your wife? Before God can give you more, he's just trying to see how are you handling what he already gave you. You cried and begged for that husband or that wife. He gave you one. Now you crying and begging for kids, but you're mistreating, you're neglecting your spouse. Make it make sense, and you can't make sense out of nonsense, okay? But yeah, y'all, like I said, because I was going left. In order for God to give you more and to bless you with more, you have to be responsible. You have to be obedient to his directions, and you have to actually steward those blessings. You have to use your spiritual gifts before he will elevate you to that next level. Because it's level to this. It's levels to this. One, accepting a call. So meaning you already done gave your life to Christ and you're accepting that God has a purpose for you in your life. And you're like, okay, God, use me. But when you get there, you have to actually put in the work. Faith without work is dead. You cannot be over here having all the faith. God, I trust you. But he like, I already told you what to do. You start with step 1 before I give you step 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So, just want to provide some encouragement. Also show y'all that I am human. I'm on this journey. Excuse me, I'm on this journey just like y'all, and just how God had to get me together and tell me, hey, I need you to do more. I need you to do more. I have entrusted in you so much in so many lives and so many souls. So I need you to stop being lazy. I need you to stop making up excuses. I need you to be selfless. Stop. This is not about you. This is about everyone else, because somebody's waiting on something that I instructed you to release, or something that I told you to start and do that's going to bless their life, or that's going to open up a door so that they can finally see what their purpose is. So just keep that in mind, y'all. But I hope that you guys have a phenomenal Sunday and that you spend some time with God. Like, I literally listened to my Bible app, I want to say this morning, and reading my Bible for about 2 hours. Because I am trying to be more intentional about my relationship with God, just like I am with, friends and romantic relationships and my family. So, trying to, do better and just continue growing and learning and growing. But share this message with someone, y'all. Please spend some time with God, intentional time. Get in your word or listen to your Bible app. That is my thing. I listen and I'll read, but get in your word, spend some time with God, figure out your purpose. I'm going to drop in the comments a spiritual gifts assessment that you can take to figure out what your spiritual gifts are, and ultimately spend time with God so that he can lead you to what your purpose is from him. All right, y'all.